If you don't trust me, Paty, that's a you problem. That's what Ryan said to me. He smirked when he said it. He looked me right in the eyes, wearing his expensive sunglasses to hide the sleep deprivation of a night spent in a hotel room with another woman, and he tried to make me feel small. He tried to make me feel crazy. But here's the thing about people who rely on gaslighting to keep their secrets safe. They always forget that while words can be twisted, pixels cannot. I wasn't just going to trust him. I was going to watch him. And what I saw on those security tapes, it didn't just break my heart. It set me free. Before we get into how I dismantled a 2-year relationship in exactly 48 hours, do me a favor. If you've ever had someone try to make you doubt your own eyes just to protect their own skin, hit that like button and subscribe. Today's story is for everyone who was told they were too sensitive right before they found out they were right all along. The foundations of doubt. My name is Paty R. Bolt. I'm 30 years old, and until recently, I shared an apartment, a bed, and a future with a man named Ryan. We'd been together 2 years. You know that normal solid feeling? Where the biggest drama is who forgot to take out the trash. That's what I thought we had. But looking back, the cracks were there. Ryan had this weapon, a word he used like a shield every time I expressed a boundary. Jealousy. If I asked why he was texting his coworker, Erica, at 11 p.m., stop being jealous, Paty. If I mentioned that their work lunches seemed to last 3 hours, God, don't be like that. Your insecurity is exhausting. He didn't just dismiss my concerns, he pathologized them. He made my intuition feel like a character flaw. The night the lights went out, 3 nights ago, the normal solid version of my life ended. Ryan didn't come home. No call. No running late. Just silence until 1:12 a.m. Then a text. Staying at a hotel. Don't freak out. 5 words. That's all my 2 years of loyalty earned me. When he finally responded 40 minutes later, the story was that Erica, the sister-like coworker, got wasted and couldn't drive. He couldn't leave her. I felt a physical sickness in my throat. A cold, oily slide of dread. Asked why he didn't call me to help. His response? A slurred voice note. Don't be jealous, Paty. Nothing happened. End of story. The smirk and the snap. When he walked through the door the next morning, he didn't look like a hero who had saved a friend. He looked like a man who had been caught and was preemptively attacking. The moment I opened my mouth, he exploded. He called me controlling. He said normal girlfriends would be proud of him for being a good guy. If you don't trust me, he said with that devastating smirk, that's a you problem. I felt a strange, icy calm settle over me. The kind of calm that comes when you stop trying to save a sinking ship and start looking for the life raft. All right, I said. Let's see. See what? The hotel? I replied, my voice level. Security footage. Lobby, elevators, hallways. Just to clear the air. If nothing happened, you'll be vindicated, and I'll be the crazy one. Right? The pacing lion. The transformation was instantaneous. It was like watching a mask melt off a face. The smugness evaporated, replaced by a raw, vibrating fury. What the hell is wrong with you? He screamed. You're insane. This is abusive. You don't get to spy on me. He started pacing the living room, his boots heavy on the hardwood. Thump, thump, thump. He was running his hands through his hair so hard I thought he'd pull it out. Why are you so obsessed with catching me doing something? He bellowed. I looked at him, truly looked at him, and realized he wasn't offended. He was terrified. I bluffed. I told him I'd already called the hotel to ask about their footage policy. It was a lie, at first, but his reaction confirmed the truth. He froze. His voice dropped an octave. They won't give it to you anyway. It's illegal. I didn't argue. I just opened my laptop. The email. I sat at the kitchen table and began drafting a formal request to the hotel. I didn't hide the screen. I wanted him to see the cursor blinking. I wanted him to see the professional, cold reality of his lies meeting a digital record. Ryan lunged for the laptop. I slammed it shut just as his hand grazed the lid. Are you trying to humiliate me? He hissed. I ignored the bait. I just asked the questions he couldn't answer. Why didn't you call me? Why a hotel? Why didn't you come home after she was safe? His story began to mutate in real time. First, Erica was vomiting. Then her phone was dead. Then he was too tired. Then it was none of my business. That night, he slept on the couch. I could hear him through the door, crying quietly, then whispering angrily into his phone. I didn't need to be a detective to know who was on the other end. They were both in damage control mode. The next morning, the email arrived. The footage was ready. When Ryan saw the subject line, his phone literally slipped from his hand and shattered on the floor. He didn't even care about the screen. He just whispered, "Please don't watch it." The good guy persona was dead. The sister excuse was buried. I locked myself in the bedroom. I started with the lobby. 12:38 a.m. They weren't drunk and struggling. They were laughing. Ryan was leaning into her, his face bright with a look he hadn't given me in months. Then the elevator. The doors closed, and the silence of the video made it feel even more intimate. Erica stepped directly into his space. No gap. She put her hands on his shoulders. He didn't flinch. He didn't move away. He slid his hands down to her waist and pulled her in. And then she sat on him. She wrapped her legs around him in that tiny, mirrored box, her face pressed into his neck. When the doors opened on their floor, she didn't stumble out. She smoothed her dress, smiled at him, and they walked toward the room, his arm around her waist, her head on his chest. I felt a weight lift. Not because I was happy, but because I wasn't crazy anymore. I walked out of that room, looked at the man crying on the floor, and gave him the only 2 words he earned that night. Pack a bag. He tried one last time. You're really not even fighting for us? You care more about footage than feelings. No, Ryan, I said, opening the front door. I care more about reality than your excuses. You have 30 minutes. Ryan is gone now. He sent a long email later, full of passive voice apologies. I'm sorry things happen this way. As if the elevator ride was a natural disaster he just happened to be caught in. I didn't reply. I don't need a confession from a liar. I have the truth, and for the first time in 2 years, the air in my apartment is clean. If you've ever had to go to extreme lengths to prove you weren't insane, tell me your story in the comments. How did you find out the truth? If this story gave you that satisfying sense of justice, smash that like button and subscribe for more Reddit revenge. Remember, the truth doesn't mind being questioned, but a lie hates the light. See you in the next one.